Okay, folks, looks like we're on. Welcome to our select board meeting for June 1st, 6 o'clock. And Erin, Saban, and myself are present and accounted for. Danielle is here as well. We have before us, let's see, an agenda. Anybody have any updates on that or anything? Or do you want to review and approve it as written?
So, second.
And all in favor? That sounds good. Just taking a look at it myself again, let's see, because we did talk about that. All right. Minutes were from May 18th. That was the last time we met as a board. Did you guys all have a chance to read through it?
Yep.
Okay. Make a motion to accept them as written.
Second.
All in favor? I'll pass it around. Oh, let me take that second page. Did I hand you two? No? Is that just the minutes that you have?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Bills to be paid, okay, let's see. Did you make enough copies for everybody, or did anyone want a copy of the agenda?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I can only distribute.
I got it on
What do you
my
want?
phone.
You have it on your phone, okay.
My copies in?
Yeah,
Copy.
sure.
Sorry about that, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah. We have bills to be paid in the total of $125,000, $992.72. They include money that was appropriated to the Keyser Falls Fire Department at our annual town meeting last year to the tune of $81,000. Maya ordered culverts, the money that we have, Pine State Fire and Security, which is our fire alarm monitoring. Again, road commissioner costs, oil delivery, propane delivery.
Thank you.
White Mills Consolidated, Stacy Metcalf's, Norman Hutchins. Basically our
Thank you.
same bills that will be posted on our website as well. Okay, it's 3 pages. Review ads. I don't believe we have ads in the paper currently. I know.
You okay?
Me?
Yeah.
I saw you zoning out, but I was like, are you trying to get my attention? Or
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
And we have no reports that we've received from ACO or EcoMaine, any of those. Next meeting that's planned is the workshop for June 3rd. I should mention that I just discussed with the chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals that meeting is going to be canceled on June 16th. They do not have a quorum. They've had resignation on the Zoning Board of Appeals. And there was a misprint in the ad as well. So that meeting is going to be canceled, the appeal. We have quite a few discussion items up. And the first one is our cannabis moratorium. We probably mentioned from last week that we had a petition signed by 103 residents to develop a moratorium ordinance that would limit, a moratorium would limit or actually stop licensing, manufacturing, retail sales, and testing of cannabis for 180 days. We've heard from our attorney on this. Our next step would be to schedule a public hearing for it. That has to be scheduled 7 days out from advertising, and then 10 days from the public hearing is when a town vote would occur. Have you guys all had a chance to read through that moratorium?
I haven't had a chance to read through the update that you just sent,
Okay, so,
but
yeah.
I've read through everything up until that email.
So everything, okay, I was gonna say, everything that's on this moratorium would be, would stay. I had some questions as to some of the wording of it, which our attorney explained to us, or to me in that email. And, but the limits, let's see, is adopted as follows. Can all be discussed at the public hearing as well, and copies will be available prior to that.
Are we privy to what the attorney gave you folks to read?
Yeah, I mean, we'll print out copies of it for sure. Okay.
Ahead of time is what I'm,
Yeah.
Yes,
okay. Thank you.
yes. And then it will be written as an article for a town warrant when the voting comes. But, you know, everybody will have a chance to see even the moratorium online or get a copy of it so it can be discussed at the public hearing. So, do you guys want to take a few minutes to read the forward? Anyone? Bueller, anyone?
Do you want me to make a motion? Is that what you're looking for?
No, I just want to know if you wanted a little bit of
Oh,
time
no,
to,
I'm-
okay,
I
you're
was just
good?
scanning through it again.
Okay. Does that mean you want a little bit of time, Aaron?
I mean, we're just scheduling the
Public hearing?
public hearing, right?
Right, okay,
I'll be able to read it between now and then,
okay,
right?
sounds good.
Yeah.
So it has to be advertised 7 days prior to the public hearing.
Right, so we'd get it in, it would get in on the 8th, so the earliest we could have it would be, well, when does that paper go out? On the 10th?
Hang on. The paper goes out on the 10th,
So the earliest we could have it is the 17th,
correct.
correct? Which there's a planning board meeting that night.
Yeah, there's a planning board meeting at 6 o'clock. It would have to be. Oh, boy.
So
We could do it on the 18th.
Check my calendar.
Okay,
that's a good call.
I'm checking mine. I know I have a little bit of an issue with some,
I have a surgery consult, I just want to make sure it's not that day.
yeah.
June 18th.
June 18th.
I'm clear.
Same.
I'm gonna say I'm clear too. I know that there's stuff going on with Jim, but I think,
That's a big day in Texas.
why?
You know, freedom of the slaves, I believe,
That was the
back in
19th.
That's the 19th.
Oh,
Yeah.
tonight. All right.
Juneteenth, right.
Thanks for the history lesson, though.
Okay, so we've agreed that we have I'll take a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to hold a public hearing for the moratorium as requested by the public petition on the 18th of June.
Correct.
Second?
And all in favor? Okay. Time to be determined, okay? We have a workshop usually 2:30 to 4, but I would like, if it could be later in the day, it would
I think
be.
it should be later in the day, so there's,
So
We
people,
typically do them at 6,
I
so.
think 6 o'clock probably
think
would
that's-
work. So I can draw up that ad.
Okay.
Okay. Next on our discussion items, I'll let you handle a lot of this, Aaron.
Yeah.
But what I did today, we have a new deputy CEO, Tom Myrick, that started today. I let him use the planning board laptop
Yep,
till we get him something.
Yeah.
And we have money, don't we, for the, oh, go ahead.
We do, so, yeah, so,
He needs it just for email, correct? Because we have this HP we can use for that too, right here.
He probably could use that until we get him something that's a business latitude,
That
that has
way he's not-
Microsoft and,
Yeah, I don't even have Microsoft on this yet.
oh, you need it,
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
that's why I can't use it.
okay,
But if he needs just internet access, we can use that one.
okay,
yeah, so 3 items, so, it's a battery replacement for the automatic backup and for the clerks. Their battery is, decided it's, doesn't wanna be a battery anymore, so, it's $100 to replace that battery. And then 2, Dell laptops, one for the deputy CEO and one for the ACO. Total is, what was it, $875 as best I could tell, looking at Amazon for those items, but I know that for some reason when they do that, I don't know if it takes into account taxes or what when I look, but I know it's usually a little cheaper than that, but
yeah, for Danielle, for our
Right.
account, right,
but I can, I've got the links for everything, and then also for the phone case that we approved for the ACO. That we need to, get on that phone, but yeah, so looking for approval for those, so I move that we approve the purchase of a battery backup, replacement battery, and 2 Dell laptops for a total of $900.
Before I second that, I wanna ask if those Dell laptops are business type,
Correct. Same laptop as we have,
I'll second. All in favor? That's good. All right, they'll be happy about that, cause it's been a while. Oh, nice segue into Civic Plus, if you wanna,
yeah, so, finally got in touch with Civic Plus, had a call about a different functionality, and asked the person that we were talking to, about that functionality, why I hadn't heard back, if, the person I was dealing with was still there, and so, he finally got back to me, and said that he was willing to, maintain the quote, get the quote updated. This was the issue where they wanted us to pay, $7,000 in July and then pay again in January. And so got him to update it so that, we would pay the normal $7,000 we get the invoice in December and then usually we pay it in January. But yeah, so fix the invoicing issue that we were potentially gonna have to pay for, an extra $5,000, so save that, so yeah, our Civic Plus charges would go to $72.67.50. This gets us and the migration would happen sooner than that, so we would pay in December, but we would migrate earlier. This is a migration that we have to do by April of next year, from a compliance standpoint to meet ADA requirements. And so I was just, make a motion that we approve the term for, it's a 2-year term, so it's $72.67.50. That would be invoiced in December, and then $74.49 that would be invoiced the following year,
the following December.
the following December, yeah. And so, just be seeking, or moving that we approve the statement of work that includes all the different, things. They would be moving everything, over to Civic Plus, including the website hosting and so it would also be removing that away from, GoDaddy.
And that would be our emails?
No.
No, okay,
No, just the website. So our website is a Civic Plus website, but GoDaddy still hosts the domain, and so
Okay.
Civic Plus would now host it. And this converts everything that's on our website that's in PDF form to
To
be
the
able to be
ADA,
read by a screen reader,
right,
meets all that
ADA
ADA compliance piece. Yeah.
Necessary, yeah.
yeah. Is that more helpful for the town to have Civic Plus, just in case something goes down or instead of GoDaddy?
Yeah, we had talked about switching this over before, with them, but they, had already started the process of creating our website, so we kind of put that to the side, and so this is just doing that change that we had talked about
Good.
a couple
Okay.
years ago. So I move that we approve the, what do they call it, a statement of work.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Beautiful.
That'll be interesting. Let's see. Oh, the IT support, I know that Emily wanted to get that moving
Yeah.
as well. So I wasn't here for any of the discussions between the two groups that you interviewed, and Sabin, maybe you've gotten caught up on it,
A little bit.
okay,
I'm personally more in favor of the first person we met,
okay, what, can
Conrad.
you,
Conrad.
Yeah,
And I
okay.
think it's also gonna be more cost effective for us.
I know that that's what you guys have said, but I haven't like been part of the discussion on,
yeah,
Yeah.
so, Ion Networking which is Conrad, was the first person that we met with. He provided, a quote for, two different quotes, so one is in, what we need to get up to their level of service, and then, also a quote for how much their annual service would be. And then the other people that we met with was, Advanced Microsystems. They're, you purchase a number of prepaid hours, and so once those hours are gone, you have to buy more hours in order to continue the service with them. And then they also provided, a quote to get up to their level of service, which was, around $800 more than, Ion's quote. So the quote from Ion is an ongoing, and that's converting all the emails over, that's getting everybody the Windows updates, and, getting everybody's, and getting away from GoDaddy.
okay,
And so having everything be set up, so that's all part of it.
so that was the second guy, the Ion guy?
Ion was the first guy, yeah.
Okay, and Conrad, you said? was-
Conrad was from Ion,
Okay, okay,
yeah.
okay, now I get it.
And then Advanced Microsystems was, can't remember if you were here, but there was two guys that came in.
Yeah, no,
And walk through
yeah,
it.
I think they were here.
I
but-
was here for that.
Okay, you were here for
Yeah.
that, but yeah, no, I didn't get to really talk to either one of them. So tell me the cost comparison between the two? Between, Ion and,
So Ion Systems quoted the amount to get our current system up is $2,018.80 versus Advanced Microsystems, which is $2,781
to do the same thing?
to do basically the same thing. And then, a monthly total of $986.47 for Ion Networking. Which, comparing that to Advanced Microsystems, that would be around 10 hours of service per month. So you buy like 10 hours, 20 hours.
Okay, what do they charge per hour?
So it's a rolling scale, based on how many hours, so you buy, the more hours you buy.
Say you bought 10 hours.
So if you bought, that's what I was saying, you buy
Right.
10 hours, it's, $1,187.50. So
Per
that's why,
month, so the town would be paying one of these prices every month?
the town would be paying around $1,000 a month for Ion Networking.
Uh-huh,
And the town would buy hours from Advanced Microsystems.
right.
So we could buy 100 hours at 10,000, $9,375. So that's, but once your hours are up, you've gotta buy more hours to get the
Correct.
service.
On a rolling scale.
On a roll, right.
See, I prefer something that's locked in.
I think I
Rolling
prefer
scales
something
that
that's
get us.
locked in also, as of right now too, but what do we have going on right now that, for Civic Plus that we pay, on a month, we're gonna have this charge coming up in December, right?
Right.
And then on a monthly basis, are we paying Civic Plus right now for the?
Nothing.
for nothing?
Nope, Civic Plus is a once a year.
Mm.
You pay once a year for the service.
I'm trying to think what I'd have to look at my numbers for what we paid Chris for his initial contract and then,
But basically, if we had 10 hours a month,
Mhm.
that would be pretty much equal to the cost that we would spend for ION networking as we would for advanced microsystems.
does that 10 hours of service mean what they would come in to help us to take care of, get rid of, prepare?
Plus the time to drive here,
Uh-huh,
or phone calls, or emails.
okay.
Everything, basically, everything gets tracked with amount of time, and then,
Do you think we've used 10 hours of time for the current IT guy, Chris Sanborn?
I think if,
No, not
If-
at all.
if he was
I was gonna say, I think it's hard to compare what we do with.
if he was
Chris rather than
responsive,
show
I
up.
feel like we would have used
That
more
we
than 10
would've,
hours a
yeah.
month.
That's a tough one. And I know, I do know that all three of you, and Emily as well, and I don't know if you met him either, but I know that the Ion was more to your liking than,
Yeah, I seem more personable. So ION they're in Wyndham, they have 18 employees.
Mhm.
So it's not a situation where, you're only dealing with one person.
Mhm.
You have a problem, you call them, somebody's there to answer the phone. So that was, and for advanced microsystems, I don't know that they said how many staff when they were here. They have, but I know that was one of the selling points for ION was having someone available.
Got a question about this.
I don't know that we're gonna take questions right now, okay?
Just to give you more input to think about, because it involves money for our town, just, I mean, when you get used to the setup, this is a new setup, I assume, for computer work for the town, and you need assistance getting into that, is that correct? That's why, that's IT support.
There's a lot of
Do you-
issues with our IT cliff that are
Yeah.
left
Yeah,
over that
I
we
know.
need to wrap
So
up.
my
Right.
question is,
We already have a system.
okay, but you're hiring a company to support, it says IT support,
Correct.
right? So you need a company to support you permanently, is that what I'm hearing you say?
Well,
We need someone who's responsive when we have issues, and we don't have that today. We need someone who can answer questions when we have them, who can help us fix things, but also to be proactive about things like having data backup or, security
Do you
issues.
see anywhere, let's say 5 years out after
Can we,
using this company, do you
okay,
see?
I don't know that, like, it's okay that we ask you questions, I think, at the
Yeah,
end
you
of the
see
meeting,
five-
but I think
5
during our
years out.
business meeting, this is, you
Yeah,
know,
I'm just kind of, do you see 5 years out of being able to maybe use an hour of their time or 2 hours a month? Do you see that happening, or just ongoing support, 10 hours?
I think yearly we need to evaluate that contract and see what we
So
actually
you
need
have
from
to
it.
evaluate after a
Yep.
year or 2 or 3 to see.
Yeah.
Got it.
And with that, ION networking is a month-to-month contract, so,
Okay.
he did say that he said they feel like they have to earn your business every month and prove their worth every month, so.
Can I make a
otherwise that it
point of
would be,
order?
hold on, otherwise it would be, something that we could, cancel in terms of.
Correct.
Cancel or
contract.
renegotiate, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
So
we
that was my
definitely
question.
need, internet help in this building, I mean, obviously, we don't have,
Can I make a
we
point
don't have
of
IT
order,
work,
please?
we don't have Wi-Fi where it needs to go, so,
Yeah,
Right.
just let her finish her
yeah.
statement.
If you make a decision on this, and then we discuss it at the end, you've already made your decision, so what I have for comment is directive about the choices you're gonna make right here now,
If we make a choice,
if you make a choice.
right,
Well,
Yeah.
from what you've said, you feel very comfortable with I believe it's ION. And their price is $700 less for the month, so you've got to make that money up over the next 12 months, it's the better deal of the two as proposed.
It's up front, right? Is this an upfront cost? The 2018 80 upfront and then 900 a month?
Right, so the 2,000 solves the major issues that they identified when they were here.
Okay,
And so that's what the 2018-80 covers, is resolving those issues. So that's Wi-Fi in the back, access, things like that. Getting us set up with the emails, updating a few of the items in the tech closet there around point of access and updating the Wi-Fi so that it's a wireless point that we own versus not Spectrum, Consolidated,
Right.
whoever it is.
right.
So whereas it's a system, so we own it, so we control
And
the speeds.
Would that fix our issue with Trio?
Possibly.
Okay. So they have this initial thing to correct the issues. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to really, discuss all this previously, but, and then the following month would start their $900 charge for, we don't have that yet?
Right, it's
Okay.
just, he gave a quote for the monthly and a quote for the,
Okay,
for the needs.
for the needs. So, I mean, you guys met with them and I know you were more comfortable with that initial company, so.
Yeah, I mean, very personable. I mean, we certainly don't have to make a decision today. We certainly, I would honestly say that we should, whoever it is, we should have them plan on starting on July 1st, just from a cleanliness standpoint, in terms
Financial,
of
right.
financial standpoint. But yeah, that would be my suggestion.
Can I just say
Yeah.
something? We are really struggling with our printers and
I
we
know.
have needs like yesterday.
Yeah.
So do we really have to wait till July 1st?
I mean, I'm hear this every day when I'm in here,
It's
that,
very,
yeah.
very frustrating
yeah.
on a day-to-day basis.
And
to
we
do
also
work.
have people in the the CEO office that are, they have to use our office because they don't have the,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm comfortable if you guys feel like you've got enough information from them to make that decision. And I like the fact that it's negotiable in terms of month by month and nothing like what we've been dealing with,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds reasonable to me.
So, I would entertain a motion to go with Ion.
A second.
All in favor? Okay. Well, it'll be interesting.
And it's a month-to-month contract, so we can reevaluate regularly.
Yeah,
I mean, I think some of the older boards, and I'm not knocking them, have been quick to sign contracts that have kind of bitten us in the butt
Yes.
lately, so we're trying to be very cautious about how we do that.
and we've had a lot of,
Set pricing, the rolling, anytime they say rolling or staggered pricing, I'm like, no, let's not do that. I'd rather know what we have to deal with than not. And we've got, like Danielle said, pretty immediate concerns as well as
it's
some
every
of that
day.
was
Very frustrating
security
every day.
features.
Yeah, it's like every day.
It is every day. Realistically, it's every
Yeah.
day we have issues.
Well, you can't operate a business, even the towns of business, you can't operate that way.
And the technology changes so often now, it would be good to have people to consult all the time.
Aaron, can we talk to them about coming in and doing some printer work, even if we're not starting prior to July 1st?
Oh, well, maybe we could go ahead
I
before,
mean, we can go,
Yeah.
we can reach out to them and
Yeah.
see, because, that's,
I'm seeing Danielle's
Yeah, I
desperation,
mean,
okay?
I'm comfortable starting earlier if we can,
Yeah, we can, yeah.
just to get it done.
yeah. Yeah, we can just let Emily know, and she's been in contact with them, so.
Yes. And I'll see her tomorrow morning, so,
Okay,
okay.
perfect.
All right, we'll deal with some of that. I'll deal with some of that with Emily tomorrow. Anything new? Plow contracts, an issue. We haven't,
So I spoke to both of the people that put in bids on the plow contracts. I spoke to Mr. Humphrey. He is willing to do both contracts. Well, let's start from the top. Neither one of them are willing to do one, they're not willing to switch from one to the other.
Okay.
So that's not an easy solution. Mr. Humphrey is willing to do the opposite side of where his bid was, but for an extra $1,000 more than what his bid is for the north.
So he's charging 7,000 a mile for the north,
So
and
it'd
he
be
wants
8,000
8,000 a
for
mile
the
for the
south.
south.
And I spoke to Mr. Shea, who said he would really like to help us, but, you know, he feels that the proximity of what he bid on was closer to his shop, and that works better for them, so they can't do the
The
south.
south, so they would only do the north.
They would only do the north.
Right.
And, so we had one person call and ask if they could submit a cost, a bid, and they never emailed them.
They did not.
No.
So our options are to put the bid out again for south section only and see what happens. The risk of doing that is that it's kind of like biting off your nose to spite your face when somebody comes back with another bid that's higher. The other option is to maybe negotiate with Mr. Humphrey a bit, if we can, have him come in. And just as an aside, we finally got the bill from New Hampshire DOT. They do plow our main section of road on 153. They come in at $5,992 per mile. This is the state. So I think 8,000's too much.
I think we should,
I don't know what we can do
I think we should ask Mr. Humphrey to come in and discuss it.
and discuss.
And I think if we're gonna do that, we should also ask Mr. Shea to come in as well,
Yep. I
Just
think
to review both.
it might be a good idea.
before we put them out to bid.
Yep.
Again. I mean, we have to try to save money where we can, but we also have to balance out, you know, safety and consistency and.
They gotta pay for gasoline.
That's
Did
right.
either one of, I know Shane didn't plow, or did Humphreys plow a section this
No.
past year?
No,
Neither
no.
one.
None of them did.
So the,
These are new plow guys to us.
okay, and they, the ones that did it aren't interested, is
No.
that it? Yeah. Well,
Gasoline, that's the big one.
well, these,
Well, one
Well,
of them has a
it is.
contingency based on gas.
Yeah, one does have a cap, you know, if it goes above a certain, they want half of the
And we don't know
excess
where
fee.
that's going.
And we don't know,
Only fair.
right. So, and didn't Mr. Humphrey only put in for 1 year?
Correct.
So we kinda need to, I mean, we can do a 1-year contract. Doesn't even require going to the town for the select board to sign a 1-year contract, but we maybe wanna discuss that with him as
He might
well.
be protecting his butt because gasoline could go even
Correct.
higher.
Well, that
I
and,
think
that
this-
and what they get back from the town is not, it's not a great job.
Right.
I think it does warrant a meeting with both of them. Do you want me to contact them?
Yes,
Is there a preferred day that we would like to get them in here and see if they're available?
I'd say any of our upcoming workshops,
Workshops.
Is it any that you guys are not gonna be present for?
the next 2 Thursdays for me.
Next 2 Thursdays, you're not available?
and we have Kayla from Transportation Services coming in, on June 11th.
Mine is
at-
just this coming Thursday that I have a commitment that I can't get around.
Okay, so she's coming in at 2:30 for a transportation talk, 2:30 to 3. How about like at, it could, even if it's just the two of us to get some information, say, 3:30? Give them a half an
3:30
hour?
this coming Thursday?
No, not this
A
coming,
week from Thursday?
June 11th.
Okay, I'll reach out to both of them in the
Okay.
morning if they're not watching.
Have you seen these people with equipment where they've never done this way before?
Part of the contract lists that, and go ahead because you wrote the contract, I don't wanna,
So we did speak with Maya and we updated the list that's normally in the contract of the equipment. And part of our approving and accepting their bid would be able to verify that equipment.
and a lot of contractors don't have all the equipment that we
Right, just
request
that
because
way.
they're not gonna buy it until they know they get the bid,
That's
so.
why they went through years.
Yep, yep, so, interesting that Mr. Humphrey has
And I
a-
think that's probably a little bit of why New Hampshire can do their plowing a little bit cheaper for that stretch, because they're already on both sides and they have all the equipment.
right.
Yeah, they can drive right through.
Yeah, I mean, they're already doing each other's side of that strip of road, so. And, you know,
But it's a good base to.
it's a
look
good
at.
thing just to, you know, I think it's really good this
We
board
could
has been
call around to other
really
towns
good
too.
about, trying to monitor costs. And negotiate what we can.
Yep. We could certainly call other towns and see. I know I've been called by other towns about plowing and about what they get, so. All good for plows and that kind of thing for now? Okay. Next on the list is the Community Action Grant that we are applying for due this Friday. Southern Maine Planning and Development Commission is working with us to get that grant in the works. We can apply for up to $75,000 and it has to do with community resilience. The grant that we just got and they spent money on was to develop a municipal energy plan for the town that had to do with weatherization of this building, possible community solar, anything that kind of helps lower the carbon footprint of various places in town.
And costs.
And costs. The recommendation from Energy Efficient Investments was to wrap up some of the insulation in the attic and ductwork that's leaking through the roof. What you see behind you, Stan, is called a cabinet ventilator. It's the heating unit, and they're horrible. You can't control them. The thermostats that we have are absolutely not usable. It's cold in the winter, hot in the summer. There's no air conditioning. So this is kind of the start of a whole, like maybe a capital improvement plan that we would do for the town, and hopefully include some solar as well at some point. So that's in the works for the Community Action Grant, so.
And that was a good meeting, if anybody didn't watch it. It showed, how bringing the solar in had saved us money, how to save more money and roll our credits in the future. And we saved a significant amount of money by switching over to propane from oil, especially
Huge
for the cost
amount.
right now.
Huge amount.
So that was great for the town.
So it would just be well worth to follow through in our heating system to get rid of these horrendous type of antique heating units
And
that
it'll
we
be
have.
more financially efficient as well.
Yeah, so, and a grant would cover that, so.
Those were probably original.
Oh, I think so,
Yeah.
sure. Oh, for
Some of
sure.
them we have to operate with a screwdriver.
Yeah, those,
Right. Yeah,
there's much better
yeah.
from, when was this done, 84?
86?
86.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter was the first to go all the way from whatever it was, kindergarten
To-
to
All the way
sixth.
through.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, so it's time, and as you know, we've had issues with, some of the plumbing in the building, so.
I was the inspector.
Love it,
You're the inspector for the plumbing here?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you owe us $86,000.
Yeah, right.
well,
Um,
who built the school was, their parents lived up
Locked
on top
himself
of
into
the
that,
hill.
didn't he?
Yeah,
You get it out of him, you tell me how you did it.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'll keep you posted.
Originally lived there,
Freeman?
Yeah.
Freeman lived on the left.
on the right, just past that little cemetery, I can't think now. And they had two sons that was
you know what, I'm gonna
builders.
move on down our list of,
Yeah, I'm
of
sorry.
items, that's okay, that's okay,
Reminiscent.
yeah.
Yeah,
Next is a cable franchise. This is something that the town has been doing for a long time. We get a percentage of the profits that Spectrum makes. They actually, it's a 2% of, it's like a rental charge for using our utility poles in the town. And normally what we do with that money is give it to Channel 2. And the last contract we signed with them was for 15 years. And I've got them down to 5 years. Not that it makes a huge amount of difference, but maybe something will change with our utility poles or with the company that rents them and uses them. So, it's not something that needs to be taken to a town meeting. Cable franchises are legal to be signed by, a select board at a select board meeting. So I have that, I printed it out and Lord knows what I did with it. It's probably still on the printer, but Shelley Winchenbach has been the one who's been promoting all of this, and all 5 towns in our district sign with Spectrum for this particular franchise, and they've all signed it already. So as soon as I put my hands on it, if there's a motion to go ahead and accept it,
I'll make a motion to accept it, the agreement.
second?
all in favor? Okay, so I have the entire franchise agreement printed out, all right? And just to make sure that she's changed it. One
This
of
is the
the
one that was in
towns,
our email, right?
yes,
Shelley?
yeah,
I read
that we
that.
just got.
Yeah.
And she shows where all the towns, all the roads have been accessed by Spectrum.
Does the franchise include the in-house TV stuff? during meetings and stuff? Does that cable franchise include all the live?
Well,
Meeting.
not ours, but you know how Channel 2 comes from the, high school? It covers, it's what they cover, yeah.
Okay.
And actually, you know, just as an aside, they wanted to charge more to update to an HD system, but nobody wanted it, so I can't see that it's super necessary. I'm just gonna pass the entire, first day of June.
Dudley Brothers. Dudley,
Yes.
that's who did build it.
Yeah, Gene Dudley's voice.
Yeah.
I'll take it back when you're done too, and then make a file for it, so, and I'll scan it back into Shelley tomorrow, I'll scan it back to her tomorrow. While they're signing it, I just want to, first of all, mention that I told you Tom Myrick is our new deputy CEO, and on that note of CEOs, we've had a lot of people email us about what they think are violations in the town for codes. And Norm has spent he's our CEO, has spent an enormous amount of time driving through town and citing the violations and has given out notice of violations to people. I asked him about enforcement and he said there's quite a process of letting them know, giving them 30 days to clean it up. If they don't, then they get a notice of violation, they have another 30 days to clean it up, and then it gets put onto us as a select board. So we haven't had any of that come back to us yet, but he did say that several that he's approached have been cleaning up what they need to clean up. So it's good to know that he's out there taking care of a lot of that stuff. The other update I wanted to add too, just to put it out there, is that the Zoning Board of Appeals has had a resignation, and which leaves them with 3 members, and they really need 5. So if you know anybody, or if anybody out there is listening, please come into the town and let us know that you might be interested in a spot on the Zoning Board of Appeals. And that is, I think, all I have to say. Updates, guys?
No, they don't, so that meeting that they had is canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And until they have enough members, there's no way to reschedule that,
Correct. They don't have a quorum.
And because I had some information that I wanted to pass on.
Can it wait till the end, so we can have, the town clerk report, and then,
Yeah, but I
Okay.
didn't know what, my question was, how do I get that info passed on if we aren't having the zoning board of appeals?
oh, well, you can certainly email,
They still exist.
yeah, they still
just-
exist.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, planning, if you email the planning board, Denise McGrady, who's the secretary, will get that information to Tom Winter, who's the chair of
She's
the,
secretary of
Oh.
the appeals board as well.
right. So you can definitely get them information, it's just that they can't do anything that, they can have a meeting, they just can't do anything that requires a vote, because they won't have a quorum.
Well, they only need 3 if they're 3 to have a quorum, correct?
Yeah, but I think on some of the issues that they were dealing with,
Unless somebody has to
Tom has to
recuse
recuse
themselves.
himself, so, yeah. Okay. Danielle's turn to shine.
Yes. Just a reminder that absentee ballots are still available for the June primary. The deadline to vote absentee is this Thursday, June 4th. We are open until 4 o'clock. The primary election is next Tuesday, June 9th, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The municipal election nomination papers are available. They are due back to the office by July 6th. I did want to review kind of the positions that are up, and I do have a question on one of them. So we have 1 select board member for a 3-year term, 1 school board member, a 3-year term, 2 planning board members for 5-year terms, and 1 planning board alternate. That's the question that I have. I talked to Desiree back and forth and Jen a little bit. That alternate position would be fulfilling, a member that has resigned, and it would only be for 1 year, and Desiree is recommending making that a 2-year term. Did you get any information from
No,
legal?
I called, Maine Municipal Association and left a message with them to
Okay.
see, because normally the select board would appoint somebody to fill the rest of that term, which would
Right.
end in 27.
Right,
And that's what normally would happen, which has not happened, so we haven't appointed anybody to that position. Then that position would be open again. And because of that, I wanted to know legally, can that position be opened up on, for ballot, for voting, at our, on our election day?
I think legally, if there's an opening and nomination papers are available, it's supposed to be fulfilled by an elected position and not appointed. We ran into that. I
Seems,
think,
that
a
sounds
couple
familiar
years
to me,
ago,
yeah.
but I'm not sure.
I'm not 100% sure either, and I think I'd rather get their advice.
But I guess the question is too, if it is elected, is it gonna be fulfilling that remainder of the term, or is it gonna be changed to a 2-year? And that's up to, I think, the board.
Yeah, so we would have, if we had that position filled by an election, how many people are we filling for 26? How many positions are open on the planning
Right.
board? 3. And those are 5-year terms?
The 2 voting members are 5-year terms.
Okay. And then,
The question is the alternate.
so then we could ask MMA as well if we can have that term so that people are rotating more and not be the same.
Okay. But
What's the
other-
normal term for an alternate?
1
For
year.
an alternate, I don't have my worksheet.
Is it 1 or 2
Usually
years?
everything is 5.
I think everything might be 5.
Yeah, for planning board
I
it's
didn't
5.
feel like, I started as an alternate, I didn't feel like but I was appointed.
Okay. Well, why don't I make sure from MMA?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we could figure that out soon, but it is 100 days before the municipal election, so nomination papers are available. We're just trying to figure out that detail. 3 budget committee positions are open for 3-year terms, and 1 Piper Free member is open. So that will be published as soon as we figure out the alternate term. I did want to discuss a little bit about this large auditor invoice that is
yeah.
holding our audit hostage, basically. The auditor issued the town a $12,180.50 invoice. And we've never seen an invoice like this before. And he's itemized just a few things that lead up to the total. I did send this invoice to Bill Hall, who is helping us clean up our books to get on track. And he looked at this and he says, none of these details add up to that amount of money, it's ridiculous. So I guess, what do we wanna do with this? We apparently can't get our audit or any figures, everything's at a halt right now, we can't move forward with any audits, and cleaning up books or anything. Bill's looking for an adjusted fund balance, we have to get it from this auditor, and he's not responding to anything until we basically pay this bill.
So, once we pay this bill, how close are we to getting 2022 done?
Once we get it, we'll get all the figures and the adjustments and we can move forward.
And then we're done with him. We can be done with him.
I hope so.
Because I think, other than end up in a legal situation, we're gonna end up having to pay this bill.
Well, I'm gonna let Aaron speak to that, because he had emailed Cam about it.
Yeah, so I
Our
emailed
attorney.
our attorney about this, because obviously, getting a $12,000 invoice out of the blue, is a bit shocking. So, I sent him the audit engagement letter that we had signed, with this auditor. He looked it over, asked a few questions, and I went back to the auditor, got, a document that none of us were aware of, which was a non-audit engagement letter, which is what this invoice falls under, that was signed by, the board at the time. And so they're both kind of open-ended situations that allow for this to happen. And Cam said really, our attorney said really there's 3 ways you can go, is you can, not pay the attorney, at which point, not pay for the invoice.
Auditor.
At that point, they're either gonna come after you for the money, they're not gonna release your audit, and so you're still gonna have to pay somebody else to do the audit, which is, going to, so even if they came after you for the money and it was determined that you didn't have to pay it, you're still gonna have to pay almost that same amount of money to have somebody else redo the audit that's not being released. And so he suggested that we either pay it or pay it under protest. He said the only advantage to paying it under protest is if you determine the amount was incorrect, you could use that to reduce any future invoices.
And how do you determine
Which,
if it's incorrect?
which we hope we don't have anyway, right?
Right.
Right.
Well, and so that's kind of leads to the part where you talked about with Bill Hall saying that
Yeah.
the numbers don't add up. So obviously, that would be the next steps, is to figure out where they're coming from and the amount of hours and things like that that went into creating that invoice.
Which they didn't include on the invoice.
No, it's
Which
bare bones, it's just
I
a
would think it
couple-
would be within our right to ask for a detailed invoice, and I know it will happen. They'll come back with a whole nother charge, which is what they've been doing, charging us for phone calls. They'll come back with another charge for rewriting the invoice with more detailed information. That's my guess.
3 of these line items are saying that you're recording certain accounts that have never been recorded in the town books at all, ever. And we've never gotten $12,000 invoice, it's ridiculous.
Was there any contract that,
It was a contract signed by a previous board that had no
Oh.
fee schedule.
really?
Yeah, it's a very open contract. We've disputed, I contacted him, Aaron's contacted him, and I think the best thing we can do, unfortunately, is get this over with and separate and part ways, because they're
So-
gonna keep fleecing us.
So did he do this audit on the new board, or it was done on the old board that?
Well, since I've been here, I've never seen a non-audit engagement letter, and I've never seen a non-audit invoice for work done come through.
It was signed
In
in
3 years.
2019, right?
And the
Yeah.
engagement letter was signed in 2019, so, and
None of us were there.
yeah, none of us were here, none of us had, we couldn't even find a copy of it. We had to request a copy from the auditor, which made me wonder,
That seems kind
It'll
of.
cost you more. to
Oh,
deal
it will, I know, it's cost us enough
with.
already.
You'll never hear from
We
me
just
if you
gotta
pay
get
the
this
bill.
done.
It's
The
the right
only-
thing to do.
The only fund we can pay this out of is unanticipated, and it's basically gonna drain it. We've got 13 grand in unanticipated. If we pay it out of there and it's paid, but don't expect any other unanticipated
Well, that-
expenses.
I would write up some contract to this guy, you're gonna pay his bill, but he has to sign off that there won't be any other expenses
This is the
coming.
last bill.
This is the last one we'll
Final,
hear from
that's
you.
right, you have to
Yeah.
sign up, this is his final bill.
If you go on the state website and there's a search engine that you can find what town, every single town in the state of Maine, what auditing company they use. And if you search his name, we are the only one in the state that use him.
Are you serious?
I am absolutely serious. So I think there's a bunch of red flags on that. Hopefully we part ways real quick, because he's not doing us any favors.
No, not at all.
And there's a reason why nobody uses him, I'm sure.
Is it able, are you able to see his results before you pay him, or at the same time?
No, you don't get them until you pay.
We have a
Show me the
draft.
money,
Yeah.
and then you'll get your 2022 audit.
Yep.
And that's where we're at. We're 4 years
We
behind.
can't move forward without those adjustments.
Right.
Hmm.
And, it's just kind of an outrageous charge that we feel like we have our hands tied behind our backs.
So do you wanna put this on your AP warrant next week, so we can move
Yes.
forward?
I think we
and
should.
Get this over with
I think we
before
should.
June 30th?
Public knowledge, who the firm is?
It's Ron L.
Ron.
Bolio Incorporated.
Ron Bolio and Company out of 41 Bates Street, Portland, Maine.
In 3 years, I've spoken with them on the phone and asked about different things like you guys have. Never met them. They've never come out here to look at books or, get data from our computers or anything. They've never.
Just to respond to an email, they charge us hundreds of dollars, so that's when we stopped contacting them.
Even a phone call, they charged several $100s.
Wow.
And we confronted them about that, and while we got back was that.
Another bill.
Yeah, we got a bill for the confrontation and basically
So it's like,
a copy of the contract that says that they can charge different fees for, their fee schedule is based on what they consider severity
They
of the
have a fee
question.
schedule, whatever they wanna charge, basically.
Yeah,
Right.
so we
That's
just
all
need to
I
part
got.
ways.
I'll just put that on the warrant and we'll get this over with and I'll let Bill Hall know so we can get moving.
Okay.
And how are you doing with finding a new auditor?
I have a list.
Okay.
Bill Hall is actually contacting RH&R again.
See if they'll-
Because he's kinda got, like, since he used to work for him.
Yeah.
Once we get this figured out, we'll revisit that a little bit. Hopefully we can get RH&R.
And once we wrap this up, we can revisit if we have any,
We can call some of the names that you have as well and
Well,
get
anyway to
what
try to get
towns
some
they,
of the money back.
they work for and maybe
Once we
get
get
some.
the auditing report, I'm gonna work with Bill and we're gonna make the adjustments that they recommend, so we can move forward.
Okay.
But we'll have to make those adjustments, that they're recommending to get going on, and to find out.
If their work is shoddy, you have recourse.
So far, they've done what they need to do, but not to the tune of what we're paying this.
It's terrible.
Yeah, we haven't seen this before.
As long as you get their audit and you paid them, and if it's real shoddy and bad, say, we'll see you in court. I
Like
don't know,
to, yeah.
gotta think about that.
You need the information to continue on daily.
Uh-huh.
That's all I got, thank you.
Is that it? You good? It's enough, huh?
That's enough.
Yeah. Folks that are sitting here with us,
Yep.
comments?
We're all sitting.
Okay,
I just wanna pass this out to you guys, real quick here. Get a little paperwork here. Reminds me of that last group we had in the gym.
uh-oh.
Passed out
Here, I'll
all
give this
kinds
to
of stuff.
Saban.
Oh, I think that was my copy, you can have
I'll
it.
give it back to you.
I'm gonna get
Okay,
that
so-
over.
Okay, sounds good. Yep, thanks Danielle. I'll see you tomorrow.
I wanna clear one thing up and make it for certain is that my effort has always been based on what everybody I spoke to was an emergency situation. And, I just wanna say that we're waiting a really long time, and I understand there was a holiday there, but we're waiting over a month to have an outcome, which is not acceptable, but there's obviously nothing we can do about it other than for us to complain. So we're complaining. There's a few things I wanna say, and I've looked into this. There are current outstanding possibly appeals in regards that this moratorium will have an effect on. Or those current outstanding appeals will be affected by this moratorium. And the reason why, one of the main reasons why we were quick to try to get this on and why we worked fast to get the names of people that we knew in town, how they felt about it. And it was because we wanted the moratorium to happen immediately because it's an emergency situation. If you look at what I passed out, Parsonsfield leads the group in number of medical marijuana licenses. Leads the group. Out of all these towns, we have the smallest population and the largest amount out here. Now, that's an emergency. In Sanford, when they started to put up a data center, and then they wanted another one and another one, they immediately declared a moratorium. They didn't go back to see if they had a moratorium ordinance. They declared it right away to stop any further of that. Now, we're here for the same reason. That's why we're here. There's a lot of people, granted, we had 102 verified signatures, but there are probably 180 people that actually filled out. So, I can say this much, as long as there are current outstanding appeals and approval of any licensing regarding any of this situation, currently, from my understanding, is that in the state of Maine, if there is any appeal that has to be dealt with in relationship to this moratorium, it cannot be dealt with until after a moratorium. Because you've accepted our petition. A month is gonna pass before it even goes into effect. And there is already one appeal, there probably will be more appeals that are gonna be directly regarding this petition. And the reason why we're in a hurry is because we wanted to take care of something right away. And we're not. We're gonna go beyond our time. And we will entertain, anybody else in my group here wanna chat about this? And we will entertain feedback from you guys. We just feel that this is an emergency and it's been delayed too long, way too long. This should have come into being right away, and then we could have written up a whole article and gotten a moratorium ordinance in order, but this is an emergency situation.
I'll speak if I may. I think one of the things, and I didn't really know about this until just now, but it's just, I'm trying to absorb the idea that, you know, I was trying to make an appeal to the zoning board, which is part of the process. If you feel like you have an issue, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, you know,
Exhaust your local remedies.
yeah, local remedies. And now it seems like the local remedies are already exhausted before I got there, because we don't have the local remedies to at least hear the appeal. So it just seems like we're just kinda, I feel like we are cruising towards maybe looking at this from a more of an emergency situation where it's just, if the town is incapable of, I don't wanna be insulting, but if the town is incapable of having the appeal process go through, it's just like, what are we doing? I don't understand.
I have one
Go
comment.
ahead, go ahead.
One comment. There's some verbiage in various ordinances we have that you can't issue a building permit if there's a requirement of an approval of another organization, okay, i.e. the planning board or zoning board of appeals or whatever. And I feel like it follows through to you folks. The approval of this appeal is tantamount to the decision that you make in licensing anybody, not any one person, but anybody. This moratorium was requested for no licensing until after a review of all of the ordinances, essentially what we're talking about. We're not picking on one individual. There is one individual that falls under the purview of this whole situation. So my point is, I don't believe you have the legal right to issue a license to somebody who may or may not end up with the approval that was required because of a zoning board of appeals appeal.
We've dealt with this with our attorney, and I will email him again, because we dealt with this when the issues were going on in the village for the cannabis retail, that there was appeals, and according to the attorney, the process that the select board goes through for issuing licenses, and mind you, that requires a lot of going through applications and licensing standards, can go ahead and take place, and then if an appeal is approved.
You revoke the license?
Correct. That was this is what we went through. Maybe were you two on the board then?
I was.
You were.
I was on.
Is that your understanding as well? Is
Yeah,
that, yes?
if conditions of approval aren't met,
Right.
then the license would not be
Right.
issued.
Because that,
Why would you suffer 105 people signing a document that they don't want this to happen for the sake of one person who wants it? It makes no sense to me
Yeah,
whatsoever.
we don't understand that.
But what do you mean,
there
one
isn't,
person?
there is an
One-
ordinance that allows this type
Yeah.
of business, there is an
Right.
ordinance that allows this type of a
There's also
business to
a vote
occur
from the town
in this
for other
area.
people that do want
So
this
I
business.
think the time,
Just playing devil's advocate.
excuse me?
No, he said, he was fine.
No, go ahead.
I was responding to him, he said, why would you suffer this for one person? And I said, well, I don't necessarily think that's accurate, because there was a vote prior to this, there was more than one person that wanted these businesses. I'm not disparaging that you don't want them, I'm just saying, we're gonna get it from every side we
Well,
get it.
and and my
I
other
don't-
side of the coin here is, there was a time to vote this down in October of
And I'm guilty
2024.
of staying home.
We did vote it down and then it came to a special town meeting.
That was, you're talking about the previous, way previous one.
2 years went by and then they went and did a.
And then
people's
in
petition.
October of 2024, there was another meeting, there was another public hearing, and then there was a vote on the same kind of a thing. So I'm looking at it from both sides, okay? I'm looking at it from both sides. There was a time when all of this could have been voted down. It was not. So now we have an ordinance in place that allows this kind of business, and all of a sudden we have upset, irate, angry residents that want a moratorium, which we will deal with in, as, you know, as a select board and as the town will do with a petition.
And we have received no applications for licensure in the time that that you guys have come before us to today. So there hasn't been this influx of applicants coming in to file this.
Do you have one now? Do you have a
You
one?
have an-
We have one before us currently that was filed prior to all of
Your
this
petition.
discussion.
Well, you have a whole bunch of other people that ought to be filing for them in here, and then all
Correct,
you're
we
gonna
do,
do is
we
drive
do.
around town and see them.
We do know that, and that comes under an enforcement issue as well, so,
And you said the code officer was responsible for looking at that stuff. God bless the man if he can deal with that.
I know, yeah. It's an issue
So
for
you,
a lot of towns, but in terms of the appeal that's being made, and I will email the attorney again to make sure that, yeah, that is what's happened in the past. Because our ordinance, licensing ordinance states that all of the ordinances, permits, and approvals from every part of the town, not just the select board, need to be in place before a license is issued.
thank you for your answer. I don't like it, but thank you.
I have an issue, and one is the water in the runoff. I know, cause I built commercial buildings, water treatment plants, sewer treatment plants, strong on civil engineering. And when we were in a planning board meeting, and Jim, you can correct me, I don't know if you remember or not, but I said that there's an issue, there should be, this is one, they're issued, I think, a permit to build a general store. Correct, he has a permit to build?
You know, that's not something that the select board can talk about. That
Okay.
would be an illegal discussion because you're talking about a particular permit application and that party isn't here. So we can't have those specific
How do you
kinds.
address the complaint if I gotta have a man here in order to make a complaint about
Well,
something?
no, I'm listening to your complaints, but that's not really a complaint. I think I'm hearing an observation about something that's in process,
Make
so.
it superficial.
And maybe it needs to go to to the appeals board again or the, you know.
Well, this went through the planning board. Let me finish and then maybe I'm wrong, but if I could just finish that. And I spoke about that needed to be a retention pond because it's a commercial building over here. And the planning board, one of the gentlemen, which I think he was the assistant on it, and Desiree talked back and forth, and he says, I think that's a valid point, maybe we should do something. Desiree asked Chris specifically, would you do a retention pond? And he said no. Then so it becomes an enforcement, who do I see about that? Because the water with no stone, his ditch that's there running that water should be exactly with the state with stone in it, and that should be done at the time he's doing it, so I'm afraid that building may all be done in.
Have you approached the code enforcement officer with it?
No, that's why I'm trying to find out, who do I talk to
I mean, if you have
about this?
concerns about that and
Because
you could definitely talk
I
to.
have the state mandates for commercial buildings, what it has to be. And, if that's what I have to do, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Sure,
what's
we
the
have a
best
code
way to go.
enforcement officer, you can bring those concerns to
Yeah,
him.
that-
If you have state regulations, you can bring it to the state. There's, you know,
Well, I'd rather not do it to the guy, I'd like to see, him take care, do the stuff what he has to do and be successful,
Yeah,
but
really.
I don't wanna be I will, if I have to, yes, but I'd rather it be done and taken care of right here, without making it any harder on him.
Well, our code enforcement officer is usually here on Mondays, but,
Okay.
and hit or miss at the time.
I'll bring it, cause I have the standards, the state standards in that, it's all based on the water flow, what it does, how many inches of rain.
DEP regulations.
Yeah,
So if you approve this permit, and then the town votes to have a moratorium on any further development, how is this approved, how will this, and Adam, has his day in court, so to speak, at the zoning board, are you gonna ask him to shut his operation down? Who asked him to shut his operation down?
I think I'll answer that question when it comes to that, if and when it comes to that. We haven't completed anything yet. We haven't
Well,
completed
you've got an
anything.
application in front of you.
Yeah.
That's due.
We have a moratorium that hasn't been passed.
Yep.
We have an appeals that hasn't been made. There's an awful lot of mitigating factors out there that we need to take care of.
you as a board have to make a decision shortly, right?
Yep,
Within
that's right.
45 days of a public hearing, and then we have 10 days after that to notify the applicant.
What if you don't make a decision in that time period?
They would probably bring a suit against the town. I'm just saying.
Does that, I read somewhere, and I might be wrong here, that a non-action is a no, is considered a no. And I'm not sure, because I don't know anything about marijuana stuff. The states passed some laws and we all got to live with them. Yeah, but in some instances, if you don't vote, that means no, that the application that's before you is no good.
And sometimes it means automatic yes, cause you didn't vote on it, so
I
I
have
think
never read that anywhere.
we
but
need to,
I
we
won't
need
vouch
to,
it.
we are, I hope you all know that we're taking it very seriously, and we're,
I believe you are,
And
I
we are.
honestly,
We are. We
Yes.
have a lot of things that are in the works that we just
Yeah.
aren't at liberty to
and
talk about.
and without trying to cost everyone more money, we're constantly in contact with the legal counsel to make sure that any decisions that are made are as much appeal-proof as possible.
Well, I understand what you're trying to do, but you're opening up a huge can of worms, working with our friend here, who wants to go. He doesn't follow laws, he does things and then he says,
We're
"Oh,
we're not gonna disparage
understand that.
individuals. That's not what these meetings are
understand
for.
that. You don't have to do individuals until after it's done, and then it's too late. Thank you for listening to us, I'm heading out.
We all good here?
yeah,
Thank you.
I'm also, I know what I gotta do and
Okay.
I'll talk to the code enforcement officer. He may have a different opinion, but unless they've changed things in the last 2 years on commercial stuff from what I've done for 35 years, and
Okay.
it's not a big cost, it's just, it should be done.
I got one more thing, always one more thing, isn't there?
One more mile is what I say.
One more mile. We had two subdivisions before this particular issue came up that night. And those two subdivisions had to have an engineer, and there was BH2M that was present for that, discussing, that's the engineering firm, that dealt with erosion, soil, stormwater management, and so forth and so on. And at the end of the meeting, as was stated, when the third party came before the board and the water issue was brought up, Desiree, I don't know, who's the lady that's the chairman of the planning board?
Desiree.
Is it Desiree? Okay. I'm learning a whole lot of names I never knew before. She said, well, the gentleman that was sitting at the end of the table on the planning board said, it seems like of all the issues that were brought up tonight, the real concern here was the stormwater. All right? And so because of that, Desiree said, well, we'll have the code officer look at this. I was flabbergasted. We're gonna assign the town's code officer to determine whether or not the stormwater is being managed correctly. We just made two people with subdivisions pay a fortune to have an engineer make the same determination. Now we're gonna stick the burden on the town's code enforcement officer to see if it meets the standard or not. and I was unimpressed with the answer that he came up with. And I'm not gonna insult the man by going in there and speaking with him about the issue. You can do the research yourself on what his answer to that was. Water flows downhill, essentially, is what the point was, the whole thing.
So noted.
Thank you. Are you still
Thanks,
on-
guys.
I would
still on the
entertain,
camera?
we're still on the camera,
Okay.
but I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor? Non-negotiable.
You know,
don't forget the pillow.
Don't forget your pillow.
Well, I'll just leave it here